Hello my friends, good morning to you and welcome back to the reading of the Spirits book. We are at the conclusion part 7 and they say the following. Spiritism is presented under 3 different aspects: the manifestations, the philosophical and moral principles deduced from manifestations, and the third is the practical applications of those principles. Hence, there are 3 classes, or 3 degrees of its adherence. First, those who believe in the manifestations and limit themselves to proving them. It is for them a science of experimentation. Second, those who comprehend its moral consequences. Third, those who practice or endeavor to practice its morality. Wherever may be the scientific or moral point of view from which these strange phenomena are regarded, everyone perceives that they represent a new order of ideas whose consequences will promote a profound modification for the better in the state of humankind. As for our adversaries, we may also group them into 3 categories. In the first are those who systematically deny everything new or anything that does not proceed from their own minds, and who address the issue without knowing its cause. To this class belong all those who admit nothing beyond the testimony of their senses. They have seen nothing and want to see nothing, even less to delve into anything. They would even become troubled if they saw things too clearly, afraid of being forced to confess that they have been wrong. For them, Spiritism is a fantasy, an insanity, a utopia. It has no real existence, and that is the end of the matter. These are the unbending disbelievers. At their side are those who have only condescended to glance at the subject long enough to ease their conscience in order to be able to say, "I wanted to see, but have seen nothing." They do not understand that it might require more than half an hour to take in an entire science. In the second category are those who know very well what to think of the reality of the phenomena, but they nevertheless oppose them for reasons of personal interest. They know that Spiritism is authentic, but they fear its consequences and attack it as an enemy. In the third category are those who find in Spiritist morals a censure that is too severe for their behavior and inclinations. If they were to take Spiritism seriously, it would inconvenience them. They neither reject or accept it, but prefer to shut their eyes to it. The first are swayed by pride and presumption, the second by ambition, and the third by selfishness. Of course, since these causes of opposition lack consistency, they must disappear with time. We would seek in vain for a 4th class of antagonists who would base their opposition on evidence that would demonstrate a conscientious and detailed study of the issue. People have discounted Spiritism, but no one has presented a serious and irrefutable demonstration of the contrary. It would be presuming too much of human nature to believe that it could suddenly be transformed by Spiritist ideas. Acting on these ideas will certainly differ in degree of intensity among those who profess them. Whatever the results may be, even if weak, they will nevertheless represent an improvement. If nothing else, they would provide proof of the existence of an extracorporeal world which in itself would negate materialist doctrines. This is the result of a simple observation of the phenomena, but among those who comprehend the Spiritist philosophy, and see in it something more than the more or less curious phenomena, there are other effects. The first and most general is that of developing a religious sentiment, even in those who, without being materialists, are indifferent to spiritual things. For them, this will result in a loss of the fear of death. We are not saying they will desire death. Far from it, for Spiritists will defend their lives like everyone else. But they will feel indifferent about it, which will enable them to accept inevitable death without complaining or regret, and be assured that a happier state will ensue. The second effect, perhaps as general as the first, is resignation in the face of life's afflictions. Spiritism enables us to see things from such a height that earthly life loses three-fourths of its importance, and we are no longer disturbed by its tribulations. Hence, we have more courage in our troubles and more moderation in our desires. We also have an aversion to the desire to shorten our own life. For Spiritist knowledge teaches that suicide always causes the loss of what it was intended to gain. The certainty of a future where happiness ends on ourselves, along with the possibility of establishing relationships with those who are dear to us, provides supreme consolation to our spirit. Our horizons are widened to infinity by our constant vision of the life beyond the grave, a life whose deepest mysteries we are allowed to probe. The third effect is that of awakening tolerance for others' shortcomings. It must be admitted, however, that selfishness and everything that issues from it are the most tenacious sentiments in humans, and consequently the most difficult to uproot. We can make voluntary sacrifices provided they cost us nothing, and especially provided they deprive us of nothing. Money still exerts an irresistible attraction on the majority of humankind, and very few understand the word superfluous in connection with their own selves. Thus, the renunciation of the self is the most eminent sign of progress. Well guys, I hope you like this reading as much as I do. I leave you with a big kiss. Mwah! Stay with peace in your hearts, peace in your minds, and God bless you all. Big kiss. Bye bye.